When you enter into the academic conversation, as we discussed in the previous module, you inevitably end up using or referring to material produced by someone else. Anytime you use something that someone else has created, you must give credit to that person. A big part of upholding academic integrity and following its rules is to clearly acknowledge the work of other people. And if you don't properly give credit to any words or ideas or information you've borrowed, it appears to your reader that you're presenting these ideas as your own thoughts. We call this plagiarism, and plagiarism is a violation of our student code of conduct. Now, many of you are likely very familiar with the term plagiarism, but for some of you, it may be a newer concept. So let's unpack that a little bit and explain more clearly what plagiarism is. When you take someone else's words to use in your own paper, a quotation, this quotation needs quotation marks around the words you took, and you must also use parentheses to acknowledge where you took the quote from and who said it. This is called a citation. There are different citation styles depending on what field of study you're in. If you don't know how to cite your sources properly, don't worry, we cover this information in a later module. Quotes should be used sparingly, meaning they should not be used very often. Typically, you only quote something directly when the exact wording is important. And if you change the quote, it loses its significance. Usually, the expectation is that you put things into your own words. This is called paraphrasing. This doesn't mean copying and pasting from the internet and using a thesaurus to find a synonym, changing a few words, and moving the order around so it looks like you wrote something yourself. When you are writing an assignment, you are expected to conduct proper research from several sources, like books, articles, journals, and video, and understand what you are researching. And then you either paraphrase or summarize the relevant material. Paraphrasing means you write and explain a passage of text in your own words. Summarizing is similar, but this is when you take the overarching theme of an entire article or piece of work and then very briefly outline the author's main points. In both cases, you are still required to cite or give credit to the source, even though you've put it in your own words. If you remember from the last module, good academic writing is when you engage in the academic conversation by presenting your own ideas and arguments in your own words, primarily in a way that clearly connects with the work of other authors and the broader conversation. One last point I should mention is this. Citations are not only required in writing contexts, but it also applies to artwork, music, graphs, and tables, some usages of computer code, and even reusing your own work. This one sometimes catches students by surprise. If you resubmit work that you've already handed in for another course and you don't let your readers know this is called self-plagiarism. Even if you reuse your own material, you have to cite it and disclose that it's reused. Before you ever consider reusing any of your own work, it's a good idea to ask your instructor ahead of time. You need to determine if it's appropriate to reuse something that you already submitted for another course. So, in conclusion, when you're writing, be sure to put things in your own words by paraphrasing or summarizing. And when you use an exact quote, indicate that with quotation marks. And for anything that you're borrowing, words, thoughts, ideas, graphs, and images, be sure to include a citation so your reader knows where it came from.